AM Mountain Time here in beautiful Denver. I am top of the majestic Rockies. So my privilege to go and be your host and your speaker today on August the 30th. Here we are in Legion Nation, and here we are, Cycle 1. We just are about to wrap up the first 7 days. So one of the things we shouldn't do is putting ourselves in a position where we're going to be really for the entire story. So I just encourage this, ladies and gentlemen. I think you an opportunity where we really allowed ourselves to listen to the talking instead of talking. Okay, so that's the key thing we wanted to touch on. But let's talk about the Freedom Friday, special time. When people all around, DJ Nation. One of the things about Freedom Friday, it is truly about teamwork, ladies and gentlemen. Teamwork is one of the key things that makes everything go. Teamwork is all about really getting our egos out of the way. I was in the military, I was in the medical corps, in the Army, I was privileged to do that. And one of the things that the military taught me, or maybe if somebody has been exposed to, maybe high school sports, even, young American football league sports for the young people. Maybe for the women it's going to be Girl Scouts. But we've all, in all likeliness, been in organizations where the mission was more important than the, if you will, the mission was more important than just one person's perspective about the mission. In other words, there was a leader in the mission, and the mission was very well stated, what you were going to do, and people stuck to that mission. And so one of the key things that I encourage you to consider is, what is your mission this weekend on Freedom Friday? What is your mission in getting people to some of these upcoming events? Some of them this actual weekend, tomorrow, the Race to Summit event. Really, I don't expect anybody to really raise your hand, but figuratively, if we were in a room, you could raise your hand, or maybe just really admit to yourself whether you know the answer to this question. And that is, do you know where the Race to Summit events are this weekend? And I'm pausing with intention. I really want you to think about that, because one of the things that we've learned as leaders is that coachability is about following through. And coachability is really about the ability to see ahead of just today. Okay? As my incredible mentor, Mr. Ron Bowles, shares with me all the time, many times being successful in this industry is really analogous to being in a chess game. Okay? And a chess game is that we are thinking about what is the next best move. See, in a chess game, it's not just about what's the next move. There's a myriad of moves. I had the privilege to play that game in high school, and really went up to have the ability to work to play against the state champion in our chess club, and it was a short game, needless to say. But my whole point is it's short in the sense that it wasn't 3 or 4 hours; it's about 40 minutes. It's a short match. And so, my point is that the key thing, ladies and gentlemen, to think about the chess game, or here at DJ International, what is the best move? And one of the great things you may want to be thinking about is that as you are this weekend on the Freedom Friday, in Labor Day weekend, congratulations to everybody being on the call today on a holiday weekend. A lot of people have checked out. I love what Dave Albini said. He's going to be open for business, okay? And the fact is that it's a great philosophy to have. My philosophy about my business is what I call the Walmart philosophy. If Walmart is open for business, I should be open, okay? If it's good enough, for one of the biggest organizations, franchises in the world, if it's good enough for Starbucks to be open today, and all of Auto's business should be open, and something for you to consider too. So congratulations for being here. But back to the Race to Summit, one of the key things that I wanted to talk about today is that in the Race to Summit, there are these events. And I love what David Moses spoke about. one-on-one, I would be on that call. But what Mr. Moses talked about is the whole concept, and it's almost a mystery to many people in the marketplace, and it's called leverage, okay? And the Raise the Summit is all about leverage, ladies and gentlemen. Let me ask you a question. Would you right now, it's a rhetorical question, by the way, would you right now love to have about, well, let's say 20% of the entire volume of the company in your business? Pretty rhetorical question, right? Well, that's actually happened because somebody was coachable. And that somebody was able to go ahead and be a part of a process that started with this very simple question. Well, who do you know in Japan? And it started out in the Midwest, out in the Minnesota area, and they asked somebody in Chicago, who do you know in Japan? No, I don't know. You know, the person in Minnesota said, you know what, I do know somebody that knows somebody in Japan, but they're in Chicago. Let me call this person out in Chicago. And this person out in Chicago said, oh, you know, I do know somebody out in Japan. Let me give them a call. And that person out in Japan knew one of the top people in this company now that had brought over 20% of the volume of this emerging $250 million company, ladies and gentlemen. And it all started with who do you know? And, you know, we hear it over and over. This is a very simple business. And those people that keep it simple simply win. Okay? But those people that keep it complicated, it's kind of like a mystery. Okay? And so what I encourage you to do is ask some very simple questions this weekend. And I'll go ahead and share with you if you haven't open it up. But all of next week, really starting Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then all going into Saturday, are going to be 4 events in Florida. So like a great question to be asking right now is, who do you know in Florida? Now also even before that is the question this Saturday is going to be our beloved formulator Les Bianchi and Jeremy Dastrup, who does an incredible job, by the way, on the Ask Scientist called Joshua Plant. And then they're going to be in Nashville, Tennessee. So, I mean, you know what? If you know people that love music, they know somebody in Nashville, Tennessee. Okay? But what a great question to ask. Who do you know? And, you know, right off the top of their head, people are not going to think, you know, it's kind of rare, by the way. People say, oh, you know what? I know 15 people in Nashville. Okay? No, you're looking for to get the old noggin going, as they say, right? In other words, to get the memory jogger going. Who do you know in Nashville? Who do you know around the Nashville area? This is another great question to ask, because it's not just about people in Nashville, but who lives around Nashville. Because if so the question that I would encourage you to consider is that if let's say you have an opportunity to do a real estate deal with Donald Trump, or let's say you had an opportunity to be in an IPO or, you know, some special stocks with Warren Buffett, and he was going to be within, let's just say, 2 to 3 hours of your house, and you were given charge of, you know, all the people that you personally know that are in that meeting. We're going to give you a $100 bill right that night. That's very nice. When they walk into your living room, you are going to get a $100 bill. And if you have over 10, we're going to take that $100 bill and double it to 200. Okay? So the question is that we all beg then at that point is, how many people would you have in your living room, and how many people would you have the posture to suggest to them that they don't want to miss the season, and driving 2 to 3 hours is well worth their time. Okay? And there's a myriad of ways you could do it. But my point is, ladies and gentlemen, that's the kind of posture we need to have with these Race to Summit events. And as you've heard me share many, many times on my training calls, and that is that, you know, those that approach network marketing casually, and people on my team that have heard this many, many times, and I hope it becomes a mantra. But those that approach network marketing casually are doomed to be a casualty. Okay? And so what are some of the things that people do to approach network marketing casually? Very simple. They just do the things when it's convenient. Okay, when it's convenient to invite people, to an event. It's convenient to go ahead and, get to the event, in town because it's only 20 minutes away. But the question again, I think, is, do you have the posture to promote? As I said, David Moses has spoken many times on our leadership call in Millionaires in Training, called Monday Night. He talks about the power of promoting. The power of promoting. It's one thing to ask somebody to read a book. One of the books that I promote quite a bit, quite honestly, and I just see the need over and over in my business. And that is, it's a book that we're going to be having in our book of the month here, real close here with our team. And that is, it's a book having to do with how to handle the emotions positively. Maybe you can relate to this, that people kind of sabotage themselves emotionally. Well, this book, Excuse Me, Your Life is Fleeting, by Lauren Grabhorn, it shows you exactly what you need to do to harness those emotions into a positive party and why. Okay? And so what the point that I want you to get at with your people is that do you actually know what are the right books that you should actually be recommending to people in regards to their personal development. Okay? As you've heard me say many, many times, network marketing is nothing more than a personal development program with a compensation plan. And it's a great compensation plan. It's a very rewarding compensation plan. Okay? So I encourage you to really begin that process of asking people, about, who they know with the event, getting into the event. Here's another key thing. Remember, you're not just asking for people or you personally. I mean, obviously, we always need to get a person sponsoring. But the key thing is you're asking your team to do the very same. In other words, it's a culture of asking who every single PDR that's in your business. There should be a discussion of who you know in the Florida area, and who you know in Nashville. Okay, those are the sorts of things. Every single phone call that you have with these people. Okay, and that is part of that conversation. Well, who do you know in the Florida area? And knowing exactly where those Florida events are is very, very key. And what I do when I have the privilege to go ahead and coach and some very few mentor them, and that is that I ask them to put it up on their whiteboard. Put it up on their whiteboard a week in advance, 2 weeks in advance. So they can always be looking at, well, who do you know? For example, in Temple Terrace, Florida. Who do you know in West Palm Beach, Florida? Melbourne, Florida. Orlando, Florida. Okay? And again, you're talking about the metro area, at least 2 hours drive. Okay? And so I just really encourage you, ladies and gentlemen, to create that culture in your group on Freedom Friday. Freedom Friday is all about, finishing what we started, what we put in the funnel as a team. The proverbial process of building belief. The average person, by the way, in network marketing, it's really not just network marketing, but all of sales. The average person that makes a purchase in sales needs to look at the information or part of the information, if you will, in process, in the funnel, is an average of 7 different times. And you can hear about Malaysia. You need to hear about Teaching International. They need to hear about Danny. They need to hear about, incredible promotion, the Race to Summit promotion. Okay? Asking a simple question of, how do I put this? connections, we attract business builders. Okay? And that's why I like that. And there's, of course, it's very important to know how to do both, how to work with people that are very needing, they need that process of going through the product. We've got people on the line right now, leaders all around the country, that had it not been for the power of the product, as again, Ken Brailford said, the product doing the heavy lifting, they wouldn't be business builders. But the magic of being leaders, if you will, the purpose of being a leader is to know how to do both and then teach both. Okay? So I just wanted to go ahead and share that, the Race to Summit promo is really about promoting depth and duplication. It's really pretty simple. Go get two people and show them, and by the way, not tell them, show them how to go ahead and get two people. Okay? Are you showing them how to go ahead and use for example, the push-play PPR process that we've talked about multiple times on this? And if you don't know how to use the push-play PPR process, call your plug-in upline, call your coach, call your mentor, and they will definitely work with you. Now, one of the things, being true to my word, is I wanted to go ahead and share with you, I'm just going to share briefly about the difference between coaching and mentoring on this Freedom Friday. Okay? On one of the previous training calls, I talked about that, and it was requested that I share that there is a distinctive difference between coaching and mentoring. And one of the things about mentoring that's super unique is that the mentor chooses you. You don't choose your mentors. Believe it or not, a lot of people think that they have a mentor, but they really have a coach. Real mentoring begins when that mentor sees this is a very coachable person that follows through, stays connected. Okay, it's not just idle conversation. They stay connected and they follow up on the commitments they make, whatever it's going to be. It could be commitments, that I'm going to go ahead and work with you personally on getting, guests to the Race to Summit event or something. Okay? It could be that I'm going to work with you personally and showing my team how to go ahead and do push-play PPRs properly. I'm going to work with my team on how to go ahead and actually do three-way calls. That's one of the telltale signs of your business, especially of a healthy, thriving business, is that you are making three-way calls, with the people that you're exposing, and you're making those three-way calls for that validation process with your upline. Okay? And by the way, upline that you have available should be based on what's best for your prospect. Okay? Not politics, not ego, but for the prospect. All about that. Okay? But also another aspect of the three-way call indicator is not just the three-way calls that you're receiving, that you're making, but that you're receiving from your team. Okay? Matter of fact, I was coaching and mentoring some individuals this week, and I just happened to be speaking to one of them and another one called. Okay? And so what did I do? I said, let's just do a three-way call. All the time we'll talk about three-way calls, right? Just do the three-way call. We had a nice little 3 to 4 minute conversation. They're very close friends, by the way, up in Washington. And so it turns out that, but what the key thing was, is I showed them we do three-way calls. Okay? And I encourage you to do that. Just make it short and sweet, hard to beat. But back to the coaching versus mentoring. So mentoring chooses you, and mentoring is a process of that inner person. Coaching is really more focused just on, your goals of, hitting a volume many times. What's going to make this germane to network marketing? Many times in network marketing, we just focus on people. If people call me up and they need help to keep their goals, I'm going to coach them. Okay? It's going to be typically a shorter conversation. But when you mentor somebody, you're investing in them. And by the way, if you are, let's just say like a silver and below, you should be mentoring no more than one person, in my opinion. We coach 2 or 3, but you should not try to mentor 5 or 6 people at that level, because you don't need to. Okay? And here's the key thing about a mentor, and that is, as you are coaching people, you're connected with Okay? So the key thing is I'm always thinking about the process of showing them. See, leaders show people what to do. Managers tell people what to do. Hey, huge difference. Okay? And so mentoring is more about the inner person. It's a personal relationship. And the reason it's personal and the reason it's intimate in a business sense, and that is, and to a certain point in the personal life as well, mentors will help you with your personal life. Okay? And the reason we can mentor people is they have given us the permissions. I hope you write this in capital letters. Mentors are looking for people that are coaching that give them permission, that give them the permission to actually address some of the, some of the blind spots. We all have blind spots, right? Everybody does. But the point that I'm getting at is mentoring is all about giving that permission to your mentor, okay, with their behavior. And one of the things that, Ron Bowles and I talk about all the time is that behavior never lies, okay? Behavior speaks more, action is louder than words. But the behavior doesn't lie about what's really going on. You all want to be successful. So what mentors do is they look at your behavior. And what I typically do when I'm coaching people is, and this is a really good thing to do, and this identifies who you spend your time with. The good old 80-20 rule, right? You put yourself in a position where you're gonna work with those people, even coaching. The 80% based, based on the fact that you are truly reading their behavior. Okay, and so what I want you to encourage is that the 80-20 rule is all about the fact that you're going to select people to work with, coaching them personally, not mentoring, just coaching at that point. And the other 80%, you're going to work with them in a group, okay, with the tools, with the calls, the system that you have supporting your whole process, the whole business, and the whole process of building your belief. But the whole thing about mentoring, ladies and gentlemen, I want to leave you with is that we mentor people that are dependable. We mentor people that are open, and people that, what did I do right, and what can I do better? And you notice I didn't say, what did I do wrong? I don't focus on that. I focus on what they can do better. Okay? And so the fact of the matter is that mentoring is a very, very, it's a privilege, ladies and gentlemen, and I encourage you to ask, your coaches and the people in your upline, how can I be mentored by you? And mentoring begins with just being very, very coachable. Because it's just hands free. We're not going to spend a lot of time with people that don't follow through, because it's not a good investment of time, right? So anyway, that's the little bit I wanted to share about, the difference between coaching and mentoring. But the key thing that I want to leave you with on this Freedom Friday, on August the 30th, late weekend, is you are going to be around all that you typically aren't around. And the key thing you want to do, ladies and gentlemen, is allow yourself to set up an appointment to follow through with them. Okay? An appointment to send them the link. Okay, we've got some incredible tools. I have them if it's a business conversation. First thing that I want to send them is that PowerPoint presentation done by CG International. You go to Think Life In, and if you copy that, it'll go straight to that. If you copy the link at the PowerPoint, it'll go straight to that part. Now, if you copy the link at your personal website, it just goes to a segment of that part of the website. It doesn't go to that specific thing. And so what I do is I just go to Think Life In, I copy that, I actually put that in an introductory letter. I'm talking to people about promotion of the race summit, of getting to your nucleus of six, seeing where you're at in your circuit, qualifying for that first circuit for the first $400, and then the $800, $1,600, or $3,200, and of course the incredible $400 option in regards to the first 20 people that complete the 4 circuits. Okay, each circuit is just 2 getting to. Power of duplication, the power of depth, and without duplication and without depth, ladies and gentlemen, you really have no real security in this industry. You have to learn to work in depth. And ladies and gentlemen, it's just been a pleasure to share with you a little bit today. But I leave you with this: one of the great thinkers that I have followed for years, way back to my high school days and the junior high days. Even to this day, I've met this guy several times and read most of his books, and he's all over the place. Dr. Wayne Dyer. He says, "Don't die with the inside of you. Don't share your music. Don't share the beautiful, wonderful gift called Teaching International, called health, called wellness, called wealth." So with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap up the call. I'm going to unmute the line. It's been a privilege to let me share. I just encourage you, go out and enjoy your Labor Day weekend, but keep your ears tuned to those magic questions that people are asking, and we have the answers to with health and wealth. Get back with them, get their contact information if you already don't have it, get the permission to go ahead and send that, and then get back to your social activity. Please don't take out a presentation. Okay. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and unmute. It's been a good share. Y'all have a wonderful Labor Day weekend, and thank you all at the top. And we have our Saturday morning tomorrow with Amy McKinley out of Washington State. Have a great rest of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, bye-bye. Thanks, Paul. You're welcome, sir. Thanks, Paul.
Hey, Paul, Marcia, Ashley, Snowville, Georgia. Great call.
Thank you.
You're right about the Georgia. Thank you, Paul. Debbie Kelly, I'm on Vegas. Have a wonderful weekend.
Oh, you too.
Wonderful, Paul. Becky Wagner. Oh, Paul. You win in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Have a great holiday. Great California. Great call. Thank you. Thanks, Paul. From Mon Valley, Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Thanks for that, Paul. So, ladies and gentlemen, I was saying, just an incredible time here at DJ Nation with all that's going on. Really with events everywhere. We're going to talk a little bit about the Race to Summit. With one of the magic words, one of the magic phrases. I've had a little bit of a conversation with Dave Albini, one of the top leaders that I have in my group out there in the Bay Area. Just so refreshing to know that he has just been plugged into the system about as much as I know anybody out there. And, he was talking about having the barbecue and having an opportunity to introduce the DJ way of life. We call it Life Unlimited to people. And we're going to be talking a little bit about how we are going to run into people this weekend that we typically don't run into. And I think it's an art to really work through that process of showing them that the DJ story and letting the tools do the talking, and really utilizing some of the principles we talk about all the time. Speak and pass. I just like to keep it really simple. Speak and pass. Just speak the message and pass them on. Pass them to a tool and pass them to your expert. Your upline, and let the system do the hard work. And as Ken Brailsford says, let the product do the heavy lifting. So we should be getting out examples this weekend. We should also be making appointments, getting information from people. But one of the things that I encourage you not to do is to talk somebody's ear off about the